Hello, Mr. Ranga. My name is Dinda Nisa, and this is my assignment for meeting 2. The project itself has 3 parts. Part 1 and Part 2 is answer the question, and Part 3 is make a note. So here is the Part 1. Answer this question. Number 1. Describe the condition of homeless in USA. Over 500,000 people in USA are homeless, with about a third of those being children. People suffer from a mental health issue. About half of women who are homeless have been the victim of domestic abuse. Around a quarter of the homeless are employed, but unfortunately the cost of living for many people is just beyond their means and current income. Number 2. What is the fact of women who are homeless? Women who are homeless have been the victim of domestic abuse. Number 3. Based on the audio, how the person has a real compassion for others. The person in the audio have experienced when he and his wife about to enter a restaurant, a homeless man approached them and asked for money, trying to set aside any prejudice or preconceived feeling about his intention. His wife invited him to join for dinner. As it turned out, it was a nice evening. The man shared with us his hopes and dreams. Number 4. Mention and explain the facts of homelessness is a concern in almost every place you go around the world. The reason why people live on the street or in homeless shelter, and this perception often limits our ability to have real compassion for others. Some reason can include loss of employment, a traumatic event such as natural disaster that damage or destroy a family's home, and substance abuse, and the list goes on and on. Number 5. Retell the audio using your own word. In almost every place around the world, there must be a homeless person. The reason why people live on the street or in a homeless shelter, and this impression frequently restrict our ability to show genuine compassion for others. Some reasons include job loss, a traumatic incident such as a natural disaster that ruins or destroys a family home, and substance abuse, among others. For example, in just the United States alone, over 500,000 people are homeless, with about a third of those being children. 2. About 1 if 5 people suffer from a mental health issue. About half of women who are homeless have been the victim of domestic abuse. Number 4. Around a quarter of the homeless are employed, but unfortunately the cost of living for many people is just beyond their means and current income. Some people may feel uncomfortable in helping the homeless, but if we can help them, why not helping them to alleviate the pain and suffering of those who are in desperate needs of help? For example, in this audio, the speaker have experienced when he and his wife about to enter a restaurant, a homeless man approached them and asked for money, trying to set aside any prejudice or preconceived feeling about his intention. His wife invited him to join for dinner. As it turned out, it was a nice evening. The man shared with us his hope and dreams. There are so many other people served humbly and anonymously in far greater way. We can make a small difference in the small acts of generosity we do each day that can make a difference. Part 2. Answer this question. Number 1. What is the main problem of this story? The answer is, the main problem of this story is Goldilocks. It's the porridge that's supposed to be the bear's breakfast. Number 2. Describe the characteristic of the bears. The answer is, one of them was a little, small wee bear with a little small voice. One was a middle-sized bear with a middle voice, and the other was a great huge bear with a huge voice. Number 3. Why do the bears feel angry with the girl? The answer is, the bear feels angry with the little girl because the little girl ate the porridge that's supposed to be the bear's breakfast and messed up their bed. Number 4. Why does the girl call Goldilocks? The girl called Goldilocks because she had golden curls that tumbled down her back to her waist. Number 5. Create the note. There were 3 bears that lived in a house in the wood. The 3 bears has different size. One was a little, small wee bear, one was middle-sized bear, and the last bear was a great huge bear. One day they make a porridge for their breakfast. While their porridge was cooling down, they go into the woods. While they're gone, a little girl called Goldilocks went inside the bear house and tasted the porridge. The porridge that she tasted first was the great huge bear porridge, and that was too hot for her. And then she tasted the porridge of the middle bear, but this time it was too cold for her. And then she went up to the porridge of the little small wee bear and tasted that was neither too hot nor too cold. She liked it and ate it all up. After that, she went upstairs into the bedroom. The first thing she do is laying down upon the bed of the great huge bear, and then she lay down upon the bed of the middle bear, and finally she lay down upon the bed of the little small wee bear, and she felt comfortable and fell asleep. The three bears came home for breakfast, and they were surprised that their porridge had been eaten by someone. Especially little bear porridge was all gone. And then they went upstairs and found Goldilocks lying on the little bear bed. Goldilocks was shocked and jumped out of the bed and ran downstairs and went to her house. When she arrived, she told everything that happened to her grandmother, but her grandmother only thought that Goldilocks was just hallucinating. Part 3. Make a note. Make a note for this story. This story tells about Aladdin, who is a young boy who lives with his mother in poverty in a city in China. His father died recently. Having failed to persuade his son to give it up and study a trade, Aladdin, however, preferred to go and play with other boys on the street. One day, an African magician approached Aladdin while the boy plays in the street. Claiming to be the boy's uncle, he convinced Aladdin to work with him, claiming to be the boy's uncle, and promises to develop the youngster into a prosperous merchant in the future. Aladdin's mother also believed the lie and give him permission. Aladdin nods in agreement, and the magician takes him to a dangerous cave. He tells Aladdin to go get an oil lamp from inside the cave without mentioning that the magician need to get a lamp from someone else in order for the cave spell to work. He gives each of the boys a magic ring as protection. Aladdin finds the lamp, but he won't give it to him before he exits the cave. The magician traps Aladdin inside as he is still holding the lamp. After 2 days miserable and alone, Aladdin accidentally wrapped the ring the magician gave him, and Genie appears. At the boy's mercy, the ring Genie asks what Aladdin wants, and the boy asks to be brought home. Back at home, Aladdin's mother tries to clean the lamp so that it can be sold. When she rubs it, a stronger jinn appears and promises to do their will. They ask for food, and the lamp jinn delivers an incredible feast. To Aladdin's mother fear they are cavorting with devil, Aladdin insists they take advantage of their good fortune. They live in prosperity for years in this way, until one day Aladdin catches sight of the Sultan's daughter and decided he must marry her. He sends his mother to the Sultan's palace with jewels conjured by the lamp jinn in order to persuade the Sultan to approve the marriage with the lovely princess. The Sultan accepts, amazed by the display of money, though the Sultan greedy vizier encouraged him to wait 3 months, thinking that his own son can woo the princess with an even greater present during that time. Aladdin discovered 2 months later that the vizier's son has actually gained the princess as his bride. Outraged, he demands that the jinn convey the bride as groom to him on their wedding night. The jinn transport the pair in their bed, and the vizier's son is sent outside while Aladdin spends the night with the princess. The bed is returned the next morning, and the son is restored. The practice is repeated several times in a row, scaring the married pair. They believe they have been cursed and decided to divorce after telling the Sultan what has transpired. 1 month later, Aladdin's mother reminds the Sultan of his promise, and he marries his daughter to Aladdin, who commissioned the lamp jinn to build a magnificent palace for them. The magician who lived in Africa heard of this narrative and decided that Aladdin must have survived and preserved the lamp. So when Aladdin is out, he goes to the palace disguised as a trader, swapping new polished lamp for old ones. The Sultan's daughter falls for the hoax and offers him the magical lamp. The magician instantly summons the lamp jinn to convey the palace and princess to Africa. Shocked, the Sultan threatens Aladdin with death if he does not return the princess within 40 days. Because Aladdin still has the magic ring, he summons the jinn to carry him to Africa. There, he and the princess devise a strategy. She dressed seductively one night and claims to have forgotten about Aladdin. The magician, overjoyed, pour some nice wine which she subsequently drugs to murder him. The couple then steals the lights and return to China with it. But all is not well. The magician has a brother who is even more evil. The magician brother, bent on vengeance, disguises himself as a holy woman and visits the palace. There he persuades the princess that the location would benefit from a hanging rock's egg. She asks Aladdin to ask the jinn for this, which he does. However, this request angers the jinns. Since the rock is his master, he threatens to destroy the palace, but quickly surmises that Aladdin has been tricked by the magician's brother. He warns them of the danger, and Aladdin kills the impostor once and for all. They live happily ever after, and Aladdin eventually becomes Sultan himself.